Welcome to Inside Cottonwood. I'm your host today, Richard Faust, Community Services General Manager for the City of Cottonwood, and I'd like you to know that as we head into the summertime, it's hot and it's getting hotter, and so we're getting ready for our Independence Day celebration. And July 4th is just right on the corner. It's 1 month away, as well as days away in reality as we start this production of this show. And with me today are Cottonwood Fire Chief Mike Kuykendall, and also Dave Pollock, head pyrotechnician with the Fireworks Productions of Arizona. We're going to be talking a little bit today about our show and what we do for our program, how the fire department helps us out, how they work through things this time of the year being so hot and dry, and then also what we have to do for safety precautions for the shoot. Even though we shoot on a big, large black slag pile here in the middle of our community, it's one of the safest locations throughout the state and probably the Southwest in order to shoot fireworks. So we're pretty fortunate as a community to have that location, better than most other cities and communities and county locations. Again, Independence Day is not very far away, so I wanted to go over a little bit of the day's events, because people always ask what's going to happen with the city, what's going to happen with the program throughout the day, and I just wanted to let you know that admission is free. In other words, you and your family can get into the Cottonwood Kids Park on 12th and Cherry Street for free. Parking is $1 for a carload, and the proceeds go to the police auxiliary, so they'll be helping you park your car as you get out. The program starts at 4:00 p.m. and for the program opening, and then also we have kids bounce toys that are brought to us with the rides and slides by the Arizona Family Events out of Phoenix, Arizona. We also have Kiwanis who will begin serving their hamburgers and hot dogs, which are all free also, so there's free food from around 4 o'clock to around 5:30 until food runs out. And Fry's Food and Drug will be providing that food for free for us. So that'll be a nice day, and it'll be a lot of fun. So come out at around 4 o'clock, get parked, and get ready for the celebration, which lasts until about 10 o'clock in the evening. So I wanted to provide you also a little bit of information here as the watermelon eating contest goes on pretty close to around 4 o'clock to 4:15. People don't realize that, so they always get there late, and they're always asking me and all of the Parks and Recreation staff, where's the watermelon eating contest? And we were already halfway done, so please get there on time. The 7:30 time slot is for the patriotic salute of our veterans and our servicemen and women, which is a time period that we devote to them, and we salute our veterans as to what they have accomplished and throughout all of the decades of wars that we've fought in. And so it's a wonderful thing that we do. VFW Color Guard will be there, and they'll be doing a patriotic salute with the flag and the flag ceremony, and that'll start at really close to 7:30 to 7:45. And that'll be the Burt Black VFW Post 7400. We also have the, right around 8 o'clock we also have the Yavapai broadcast, who is there with Jackie Beasler, and he will be doing also the patriotic songs as we get ready for the startup of the fireworks, which normally starts up at around 9 o'clock p.m. in the evening. As soon as it gets dark enough, that's when we light those things off, and thank goodness for Dave Pollock, who's here, and he'll be talking about that. I wanted to give appreciation specifically to the City Council for funding this major event each year. We've been at it for some time. Cottonwood Fry's Food and Drug, as I mentioned before, for all of the free hamburgers and hot dogs and the buns and watermelon that are provided for you when you come out. And the Knights of Columbus, all of the food cooking is on site, and they do all of that work. And it's really hot, and so please thank them for all of the time and the effort they do, along with the Cottonwood Kiwanis Club, as they will be spending time in the heat serving you. And then also thanks go out to Minerals Research Incorporated for donations that they have given, and also Cottonwood Public Works, the Cottonwood Parks and Recreation Department, Cottonwood Fire Department, and then also the Cottonwood Police Department. As everybody joins in this massive celebration, we know that there's probably close to 10,000 people throughout the entire community who take advantage of the various locales throughout the community to watch the great pyrotechnics that we have, which is probably some of the best in reality north of Phoenix. And so we have people that come in from Prescott area, Prescott Valley, Dewey, Flagstaff, all the way around from Camp Verde, just to come watch our fireworks, because they are tremendous and it's a tremendous show. The city's been doing the fireworks annually since 1998. And the Verde Valley Fair Board did pyrotechnics prior to that time period, from approximately 1987 to 1997 at Peck's Lake. And the city started in '98. We go out approximately every 5 years for professional bids from professional pyrotechnic companies that have very high reputations and are concerned about safety first, and their shoot quality and certification levels are a standard within our community as we look for those proper safety protocols that we want to implement within our city. And so with that, I wanted to specifically identify that again, remember the fireworks start right at about 9 o'clock in the evening. The history of our productions, Fireworks Productions of Arizona is a long-standing company in the Arizona and the Southwest area. The City of Cottonwood goes through the sealed bid process, like I said, every 5 years, and the Fireworks Productions of Arizona does approximately 500 displays a year throughout the Arizona area and beyond. Events such as the 4th of July programs at Tempe Town Lake. They do the City of Peoria's 4th of July shoot, City of Surprise, City of Tucson, City of Chandler, City of Mesa, Lake Pleasant, Harbor Marina, City of Phoenix, Phoenix Country Club, Arizona Country Club, Town of Queen Creek, and Luke Air Force Base, City of Goodyear. So with that, they do an incredible program venue throughout the state, as well as represented even out in the Southwest area. Again, with us, I'm pleased to introduce both Chief of our fire department here in Cottonwood, Chief Kuykendall, and then also Dave Pollock. And Dave, let me get into a few questions here before our break here. Tell us what you do at the beginning of each of the fireworks shoots each year.
You mean in the morning?
Well, yeah. How do you actually gear up for this process? What happens when you receive the product, and
yep.
So tell us from that point further.
It's a plan that goes on for about a month in advance.
Okay.
So we're prepping for about a month. We show up early in the morning, and we set up all of our equipment, which is racks and tubes and mortars that we use to shoot the fireworks with. And then we load everything. We load all the fireworks into the tubes, and then we cover them with plastic, because notoriously those monsoons come in on the 4th of July, and we don't want to ruin the show. So we're prepared for rain. Basically, it takes us all day to set it up. We have about an hour break in the afternoon, and then maybe an hour or two between the time we are completely finished setting up before we shoot. We like to start when it's dark. You get the best effect from the fireworks when you have a black background. Oh gosh, there's a lot to do out there. It's a big show. We take a lot of safety precautions to make sure that not only we don't get hurt shooting it, but the public doesn't get hurt. You know, we keep the public back far enough that they're out of harm's way. Where we shoot out there at the fairgrounds is basically all dirt. We have that giant black slag pile that we shoot from. We do quite a bit of stuff up there now, and it's kind of nice because the slag pile is so high that it elevates the fireworks even more. So even the people that don't come to the fairgrounds to see it, if they stay home or they go to their churches or wherever they're at, you can pretty well see all the fireworks that the city puts on. So I don't know, it's a great show. It's a big show. We've been doing it now since, what'd you say, 98?
Right.
And it seems like it gets bigger and bigger every year. I hear reports of people coming from as far as Washington, D.C. to see our show.
That's right. We've had letters from them
yes.
as well.
So the word is out.
It is.
You want to see a good fireworks show? come to
Cottonwood. There you go.
That's right.
We're going to take a break here for just 1 minute, and we'll be right back. I'm your host today, Richard Faust, Community Services General Manager for the City of Cottonwood.
There's no place like home.
Getting home safely is just a click away. But making sure your child is in the right seat is just one of the steps down the road to safer travels.
I don't know how it works.
Find the right seat for your little one's age and size.
We've done what you told us.
There's no better way to get home safely. Know for sure that your child is in the right seat. Get all the facts at safercar.gov/the right seat. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Welcome to Inside Cottonwood. I'm your host today, Richard Faust, Community Services General Manager for the City of Cottonwood. We're in our second segment of our Pyrotechnics 4th of July Independence Day program, and we're talking with head pyrotechnician Dave Pollock and how things are actually set up and what transpires and happens. We'll be getting to Fire Chief Kuykendall here in just a minute also in the third segment. But I wanted to start things off because, again, starting things off at the Black Slag Pile. Dave, every year we have this interesting, and in fact it's actually iconic as the show starter, and every single year everybody wonders what has happened up on top of the Black Slag Pile because all they see is this big, huge, concussive explosion. Tell us about that.
Well, what we do is all year long we save up match ends from other shows that we clip off the end of the match, which is the fuse, and we can't throw it in the dump, so we have to dispose of it by burning it. So anyways, what we do is we take it and we fill a 55-gallon drum full, we pack it down in there, run some fuse to it, and we call it the mushroom cloud. And why we do it is it adds excitement to the show. When we light that thing off, you can hear the crowd gasp, as
Yes.
though, something happened. But really, it's all planned, it's all safe, and it's just a little adrenaline pump.
Yes, it is. It's a big eye catcher
During the show. And it also helps our company dispose of that match. So it kind of boosts, gives you a little boost at the beginning of the show, and it's fun for us too.
It is.
You know, when we're out there shooting, we don't get to watch the show. We're paying attention to what we're doing. So we're relying on what we hear from the crowd. We hear them. If they're quiet, then we know something's not right. If they're yelling and screaming, we know we're doing it right.
That's
and
great.
when we light that barrel, they usually yell and scream.
They really
gasp
do.
And
yeah, because everybody is, you can hear them in the crowd. They're going, what just happened?
Right.
What happened? What happened up on the hill? And so that's what it does. Is it definitely gets everybody's heart pumping,
Yeah.
and they're ready for the show then at that time period. Tell us now, how many people do you have on staff that actually support you throughout? I mean, you had indicated you guys are so busy for the day setting up, and sometimes it does rain, and it comes in, and so you have to have all of those people doing something.
yes, I have 13 people helping me shoot Cottonwood.
Right.
And then we also have, we shoot Chino Valley on the same day. So my wife takes a small crew to Chino Valley and shoots up there. But it takes every bit of 13 people most of the day to set up the show. In the morning when I get there, I've usually got about 10 people that help set up all the racks, load the mortars, and then those people will go home until later on in the afternoon. Once the fireworks are on site, I have to stay with them. We can't, you can't just pull up, leave them, go home, take a shower or a nap. We be there all day long. So yeah, 13 people, sometimes more. nevertheless.
That's it.
Yeah.
It's always interesting. Every time I go up there and we're ready for getting ready for the shoot, your people are always incredibly busy. Everybody's doing something, so it's pretty intense up there. Now, what is a head pyrotechnician? What does your job encompass?
Head pyrotechnician, you have to have a shooter's license. You have to have a commercial driver's license with a hazardous materials endorsement. You are the person who is orchestrating everything. You decide how it's going to be shot, who's going to be there shooting. You are involved directly with the client. Basically, you're in charge of the whole show.
I see.
And unfortunately, I mean fortunately, but unfortunately, if something goes wrong, the head pyro is the person that's going to answer the questions as to why something went wrong. But most of the people who help me are close friends and family. We've been all doing it for I've been doing it for 25 years. Most of my crew has been with me for 20. We all know what we're doing. We know, what to expect, and we follow the rules. So that's a big part of the reason why we haven't had any accidents.
That's right.
So we play by the rules, and it works out good, and Cottonwood keeps calling us back.
And we're very appreciative.
Thank you. Thanks.
Dave, so we know that, the show takes about between 30 and 32 minutes from the start of the barrel going off and then until actually the finale. Can you tell us how many shells that the program has in the air from, I guess, in the beginning to the end?
Well,
it's a big show.
It is a big show. There's a lot of shells involved, a lot of different types of shells involved. We have aerial shells from 2.5 inch all the way to 8 inch. We have basins, which are huge boxes that shoot anywhere from 100 to 600 shots, lighting one fuse. We have an opening of red, white, and blue shells. But before I do that, I like to send up an 8 inch shell. And that just one 8 inch shell kind of says, boom, okay, we are ready to start the show. Everybody settles down, and then we begin. And typically what I'll do is the client will tell me, okay, we want a 30-minute show or we want a 20-minute show. And then you figure out how many shells you have, and you divide that by how many seconds there are in the amount of time the client wants. And then you kind of time it. You have to have one shell in the air every 3 seconds. And sometimes, even for us, the adrenaline starts to get going, and all of a sudden we're in a gunpowder frenzy, and we are popping shells off, and I have to go in and slow them down a little bit. But basically, we try and keep to how many shells per second need to be in the air to meet that 30-35 minute time frame. And sometimes we have to slow down, sometimes we have to speed up. But it always seems to work out.
It does. I mean, we're looking at about 120 shells that are going off in the opening show.
Right.
About almost 890 during the aerial display portion of the show, which is an essential part of the show, and about 150 shells that go up in the grand finale. And that's incredible, because that's the last 2 to 3 minutes of the program, and they're all being heaved up at that time period. We get a lot of so many of the oohs and ahs, and oh my gosh, it's incredible, especially at that last finale stage.
Yeah.
It's something else to watch. You guys do something else up there. It's great. Now, how long have you worked for this company?
25 years.
25 years.
Yeah.
And with that, now, you talked about your personal licensing, but the company has to be licensed by the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms.
That's correct.
They have to be licensed in the state of Arizona. They have to be certified shooters, which you are, and then liability insurance carriers, and there's a lot of liability involved in that.
We carry
with
$10
cost.
million
$10 million worth. And so, now, why does a company that shoots fireworks, why do they have to be licensed by the BATF?
Well, it has gotten super strict since 9/11.
I see.
All the agencies have gotten involved, and we're background checked every 2 years, fingerprinted every 5 years. We're drug tested every year. I mean, they are on top of explosives, and that's why anybody today who's buying anything that blows up, ATF wants to know who you are and what your background is.
That's right.
FBI gets involved. All kinds of people are involved in making sure that none of the fireworks end up in the wrong hands.
Okay.
And so you know, we're the only fireworks company that we know of that carries $10 million worth of liability insurance.
That's, you're right, because we don't know of anybody else that does either, and that's one of the reasons why we contract with you guys. And you are so close. And then the other reason is too is why no one will even compete in the state of Arizona very much so, is because cross-border. Because it takes so much to cross the border.
Right,
it costs more money,
more
everything. Yes, it is.
Yeah. And I want to point out, we have never injured anyone at a fireworks show. Never killed anybody. Never had those kind of problems. So we do teach a school every year to all, it's like a refresher course. There are a lot of head pyros that only shoot shows on the 4th of July, and then we have a handful that are busy all year long. And those people are more familiar with it. But people who only do it once a year, it's good for them to get in and refresh and remember the rules and all that kind of stuff. So every year in February, we do put on a school for everybody. And at the end of the school, we go out and shoot a show that night.
Oh, I see. Okay. So that's good preparation.
Yes.
So, and I was going to ask you, what safety considerations do you do? I know you've talked about, a lot of that is to the safety aspects of your company. Is there anything else that you set up for when shooting off displays like this size and caliber?
Well, in the weeks approaching the 4th of July, the head pyro is responsible for going out to the site, making sure that there's no overhead power lines, there's no tall dry grass around, there's no gas cans, there's nothing that's going to catch on fire during the show. And if there is things like that, we get in touch with the client and we work out how that's going to be taken care of before we show up. Now, once we show up, of course, there's no smoking, there's no drinking, there's no drugs. We do have pressurized water fire extinguishers placed in strategic areas in case we do have fire, because believe me, we have fire falling on us all the time. And then we rely on the fire departments to be there just in case something happens that we need a little extra help to get something put out. But I want to reiterate the fact that Cottonwood has a dirt area that we shoot in. There's just nothing out there to burn. We have a really nice site for shooting fireworks.
We really do. Again, we're very blessed in that context, so it's great to have that. Dave, we appreciate Fireworks Productions of Arizona being there, you and your people being there. So thank you year to year as we see this incredible Independence Day show. So we want to just express our appreciation greatly. We're going to take another 1-minute break. And again, thank you for being with us today. We'll get together directly here in a moment with Chief Mike Kuykendall. And I'm your host today, Richard Faust, Community Services General Manager for the City of Cottonwood.
When you're out there, there's no telling what you'll find.
I see it! I see it! Oh, look at you.
There are some moments only the forest can inspire. Find yours at discovertheforest.org.
Welcome back to Inside Cottonwood. I'm your host today, Richard Faust, Community Services General Manager for the City of Cottonwood. Our third segment here on Independence Day and our pyrotechnics and things that we do throughout the day. I wanted to conclude with our fire chief with the City of Cottonwood, Mike Kuykendall, and I'm glad that he accepted to come here today, and so we could talk a little bit to Mike. Mike, tell viewers what the fire department's concerned with most during this time of the year over the 4th of July.
Well, certainly this time of year, our greatest concern is fire.
Yes.
With the heat that we have, the dry condition, we certainly seen almost record droughts. We're certainly in a drought season at this point in time. As well evidenced by the fire that we just experienced up outside of Sedona. Fires, we've been fortunate. Actually, the numbers of fires that we've had in the state have not been quite as bad as I think was originally predicted, but we know that a lot of that's because of good prevention and the things that are going on. So certainly we're concerned about fire, and fireworks certainly have the potential to set fires. And so consequently, even as you were just speaking to Dave, safety is our utmost concern as we move into the fireworks display on the 4th of July. And then also, we also, of course, will discuss that here, I think, in a few minutes, a little bit more about the consumer fireworks, which are not allowed in the city of Cottonwood. But,
right. Yeah, we're very concerned about that, and that's one of the big reasons why I know the City Council from year to year expresses their intent to make sure that this show goes on so that people don't get into their own personal use of fireworks at all. Absolutely. Is that everybody concentrates specifically on this pyrotechnic shoot, which is a good thing. Pertaining to the pyrotechnic show, how do how do your fire crews prepare for these events? Because they're big.
Yeah, they are big, and it's in fact, as Dave said, I believe certainly the largest show in northern Arizona and one of the larger shows in Arizona completely. One of the things we do is get with Dave early every year. We work with the pyrotechnics company. We go out with them. We survey the site. As we said, we certainly have a large site. Right at the fringe of the site, we have the potential for some vegetation. So one of the other things we do is working with the City of Cottonwood public works crews, and we make sure that we have a safety zone around the edges. In fact, we go in and they traditionally come in with a grader and clear us not just a roadway to give us access around the fringes of the shoot site, but also provides us a fire break between that and any of the residences that are just to the east of this, and then we to the west and to the north we have some residences, and then to the northwest we have besides the slag pile now we also have a new business in our community, right. Minerals Research, which has put in some buildings and some such there. The VFW is right there, and with that, we prepare the site. And in fact, that's one of the things I want to say. You've already given your thanks to Mineral Research for donating money, but they've also been very gracious to us because of the location where they are. Hinges a lot on our ability to put on the fireworks because of where the fallout zone falls into their property. And Tom Herkett, their project manager, has been more than gracious to us, and I want to extend our thanks to him especially, and to Minerals Research for their being agreeable to allow us to continue putting on the fireworks show in the location where it is.
I appreciate that, because Tom definitely has, and he's given time for us to even have meetings out there on site. We go over things and definitely use their property if we need to, which he's allotted us to do to actually access anything that we need, which is a great thing. So Minerals Research, like you said, has not only donated in the context of funding for our fireworks, but also given us an awful lot right on site. So it's a great thing to have such a company there that's kind of side by side with us and support this program. Mm-hmm. Mike, I know that there are various concerns. You've gone over a lot of those. Are there anything else, especially with pyrotechnics' size, and nature, that you're concerned about? I know that we're far enough away, and we've got fence in between us and the fireworks, which is definitely a big plus. Is there anything else?
Well, certainly, and the size, when we talk about size, not only the number and the size, but the size of the shells dictate a lot of this too. You have to, according to the National Fire Protection, who establishes standards for all sorts of things, but they also have a pyrotechnics standard. They require 70 feet for every inch of diameter shell size. So with an 8-inch shell, which is the largest one, you have to have 560 feet in each direction. Mm-hmm. So of clear zone to have that. So certainly that's important to us to know how big the show is going to be and how big the shells are that Dave's going to be shooting. It's been great because we have such a good relationship with Dave and with the shooting crew that we work very seamlessly. And then as we prepare, one of the things we really prepare for, and especially even more so in years where we're dry like this, is to make sure that we have enough people on the ground. Mm. So we're already now working with the relationships we have with the other fire departments, establishing how many brush type units we're going to have available, engines and all those things. So even now as we prepare and get moved up to the 4th, we're preparing to have our neighbors send apparatus also to help us, and then we really saturate the whole, not just the grounds where it is, but even in the neighborhoods around, saturate for any, even the remotest chance that a spark might fall outside of our clear zone. So
that's awesome.
That's what we're doing.
Okay. So I was going to ask you, even what does the fire department do that evening of the pyro event?
Well, besides all that preparation, then it all comes together that night. One of the things that we do is for those that are coming to help us, plus our own people, we have a nice barbecue that night before the show over at the fire station.
That's awesome.
We feed all the guys that are coming to help us from other agencies. That includes the Forest Service. We typically have an engine or two from the Forest Service. We have Clarkdale, Verde Valley Fire. We've had Jerome comes down and helps us. We've had in the past Camp Verde. I don't know, to be honest with you, Captain Dawson with our department usually puts together who's coming to help us out that night, and then when we get there that night, then we place everybody in the right positions around the site and in the periphery. And this year we're even going to add a little bit more because we have a few more buildings a little closer to the fringes, so we're even planning to have the ladder truck out there this year for any potential for any buildings involved close by. So
that's good. That's good news. And it's great that everybody's so supportive, and like you said, it's seamless and it's integrated with all of the communities outside. Now, who ultimately is in charge of whether the fireworks go off and go up, and why is that?
Well, the final decision on whether the fireworks get shot falls on the fire chief. That's
right.
Me.
Yeah.
Because ultimately, it becomes a level of responsibility as also on the head pyrotechnic. We would get together and do that. There's a lot of things that can figure into there besides just the things you would think of, wind and those things, but we also have to look at just weather patterns in general. A rain, a thunderstorm coming in because the winds can become so unpredictable so quickly can have some effects on whether we should or not. Certainly, Dave, covers everything with plastic. For me, the fire chief, the best thing can happen for us is a little shower earlier in the afternoon, and then everything gets settled down, and we have nice moist ground and no wind about 9 o'clock. That makes about a perfect day for the fire chief.
Yes, and for everybody.
For Dave.
Yeah, it works out really good. So now, as we talk about weather, I know that we've seen the gamut over the last 16 years of wind and rain, but the wind definitely shifts, especially with the thunderstorms coming in and out. And so you're right. That's one of the things you guys have definitely been on top of on each one of these shoots. So it's a great thing. Now, weather prediction-wise, we're hot. I've looked out now for the next 2 weeks, and we're supposed to be pretty much above 100 degrees most of the time. And Phoenix being over 110, it looks like there's a possibility for thunderstorms definitely to be moving in. So we'll have to really be watchful of that. Hopefully we'll get them because we need the rain, and we need that precipitation big time here in Arizona.
Yeah, the only true prediction is it will be hot.
It will be hot.
I can give you that one. As far as whether the monsoons are fully in swing by then, only somebody above my pay grade knows
there you
that
go.
one.
And we appreciate all the fire department does, everything you guys do. I think here in the last minute or so, explain to us what the fire department also does for summer programs for kids.
We have a number of summer programs this year. We have Vacation Fire School coming up actually it's going to be June 12th and 13th, I believe, here. Okay. It's not, in the notes here it says July, but that's a misprint. We actually have the Vacation Fire School coming up, actually it's next Thursday and Friday, the June 12th and 13th, and we've got a pretty good number now. And we also have Safe Sitter class coming up, and that's actually full right now, and we're even looking and taking people into into the overflow for any cancellations. And may even consider having a second class if we get enough people that still want that. That's set up for June 26th and 27th, and that's a great class for people 14, 15 age group to learn how to become safe babysitters for both in their family and for children around the neighborhood. Certainly I would ask that anybody interested in those, the Vacation Fire Schools for ages 9 through 12, Safe Sitters actually ages, 11 through 13, if they would contact Cheryl Miskell at the fire station, 634-2741.
All right. Well, that really gives us a pretty good summary as to what's going on. I know the library has tons of things going on for youth during the summer month. Parks and Recreation summer programming is full of things that are transpiring and happening. Please make sure that you contact the library, Cottonwood Library, for all of the intense youth programs and child programs. Also, Parks and Recreation has their camps and programs throughout the summer. Plus, I think they have a fundamentals basketball program for your youth, as well as a volleyball fundamental program. So make contact with all of these people and try to get together. You know, people say there's nothing going on in Cottonwood, and I can tell you I've got a list of things, but I just don't have time to go through them all. So we do, between all of our various departments, we all work very well together, and we have an awful lot of child programs and youth programs. So keep in touch with us. Thank you for joining us today with Inside Cottonwood. I appreciate it greatly, and have a very safe 4th of July and Independence Day, and enjoy it with your family. I think the main thing is the safety aspect of things. So I'm your host, Richard Faust, Community Services General Manager for the City of Cottonwood. Thank you again.